Yeah.
It's 6:57. And we're live on the mics. Okay. Do you want to be over here instead? Would that work better? Oh, wait.
Tyler's sitting there.
It just disappeared.
He's back there.
It just disappeared. What did? The sun. Oh. Wow.
It's behind something. I think it just went behind the cupola or something. And I did not do that. He did that. The sun just follows you. You just have that magnetic personality.
Oh.
Hi. Can I help you? I'm going to call the Montesano City Council meeting for August 23rd to order. If you will all stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will the clerk please call roll call?
Councilman Bryson?
Here.
Councilman Carl?
Here.
Councilman Cope?
Here.
Councilwoman Jester? Here. Councilman Scaramuka?
Here.
Councilwoman Thomas?
Here.
And Councilman Trimble?
Here.
We are at approval of bills.
So moved.
Second.
There is a motion and a second to approve the bills as audited. Would the Finance Committee like to make a report?
Yes, $143,272.69. The largest bill, $50,426.05 to Granite Construction for the overlays and projects around the city that were covered by TIB.
Is there any discussion or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We are at approval of minutes. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
There is a motion and a second to approve the minutes as written. Is there any discussion or corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes of our last meeting have been approved as written. We are at our first juncture of public comment. Is there anyone that would like to do public comment at this time?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Is this your public comment?
That is our public comment. There is a mic, and since you're being...
Hello?
Oh, yes.
Oh.
We can hear
It
you
works
perfect.
good, too.
So I'm going to identify you as Pat Wadsworth, if you will...
1404 West Simpson Avenue, slightly out of the city. Okay, I wanted to bring up something to the council about the signage for Lake Sylvia. Right now, since 1947, I just made that up, they've been turning them on spruce trees. Well, if you get an RV, turning on spruce trees is pretty narrow, especially for the new car coming, and some people will pass it and end up on Main Street and backing up. I have a friend that lives up there that's happened a few times. So my thought was for you guys to figure out whether it would be better to have it here on Broadway or down on Pioneer. Either one would be better than the spruce. And it's been like that for a long time, and I noticed that right now we just have a cone with a little painted sign, which I wouldn't think that you'd want to put that sign back up there on your nice, beautiful sidewalks and drill a hole in it just for a sign that you might want to move. But anyway, so I thought I'd bring that up and let you guys figure it out.
Thank you. We appreciate it. That actually, just as a side note, somebody else had commented on that, and I think it's already been referred to the MTO committee. So they're going to meet and talk about it.
And that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Have a good day. Is there anyone else that would like to make public comment at this time? There'll be another opportunity later in the meeting if anyone would like to. At this point, I'm going to open up the public hearing on the 6-year Transportation Improvement Program amendment. Is there anyone that would like to make any comment or speak on the issue of the amendment for the 6-year Transportation Improvement Program? I'm going to wait 30 seconds on this to allow those online to have an opportunity to comment. Hearing no public, no one in the public wanting to speak on this issue, I would close the public hearing at this time. I am now opening the public hearing for the petition for vacation of a 15-foot alley in Block 2 of the Academy addition. Is there anyone that would like to speak on this issue? Hi.
Can you all hear me? Do I need to use this? Okay.
You please use the mic because it's useful for the recording.
Okay. I'm Debbie French. My husband Doug French is back here. We made a petition to vacate the alley between our property and the Jensen's property off of North Glen Street. It's an unopened alley. And it has the structure on it that we've been maintaining along with the Jensens that is falling down, that will need to be taken down. So we've petitioned to vacate. We wanted 7.5 feet. Apparently, our neighbors aren't interested in the other, so we've been told we could possibly acquire the 15 feet. Unfortunately, when we were told this, I've hired a surveyor to come out and mark our corners because we want to make sure that the 15 feet is usable to us and it doesn't fall within a fence line between us and our neighbors. So that, unfortunately, was scheduled out and won't happen until about the 2nd or 3rd week in September. But we do have a surveyor to come on and mark the corners for us so we know if we still just want to purchase. I mean, it doesn't make sense for us to purchase half or a whole vacated alley where we only have the potential to use half of the vacated alley. So that's what we're requesting. Unfortunately, because of the delay in getting things moving, our surveyor isn't able to come out and mark the corners, so we're not sure if we want to actually petition and purchase the half, or if possibly the whole would be beneficial to us and our property. Which we're hoping to be able to build a shop on. So that's our reason for wanting to vacate this alley.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak on the French petition on the vacation? I'm going to wait 30 seconds. Hearing no further public comment, seeing none online, we are going to close the public hearings on the petition for vacation. I'm moving on to committee reports. Is there anyone that met in the interim? Start with Forestry.
City Forestry Committee met this evening. Forester Heiner, Councilman Bryson, Carl, and myself were present. We discussed the 2023 budget. Began with a recap of the 22 harvest. A total of 155 acres were harvested. You may recall that we moved up the 23 harvest of 90 acres into 22 due to timber markets being what they were. Total revenue on those was $1.9 million. In 2023, the main actions will be tree planting of 154 acres. Expect the cost to be roughly $50,000 on that. Budget expenses at this point for 2023 come in at roughly $330,000. Be more discussion on that if needed. And we will be receiving a bid today. You may have seen in your packet already for pre-commercial thinning of 87 acres, which we are recommending approval.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions?
Would any other members of the committee like to make any comment on what was discussed?
I think you covered it.
With that, is there anyone else that met in the interim?
MTO met.
Oh, great. Please report.
Yeah, so the MTO committee met this evening. We actually talked about a few things, mainly being about speed bumps in town. So whether we're going to continue with those, where we're going to put them, and some locations for them. We talked about flashing stop signs at a few intersections in town that are problematic, mainly the intersection at McBride and 3rd Street coming down the hill from Lake Sylvia. That one seems to be a known problem. The Lake Sylvia sign was talked about. It's been talked about prior to this as well, so this is not our first rodeo with it, but we are going to take it all under advisement and look where we want to put it potentially and potentially change it. Other than that, that is what MTO had. Anything?
Well, Lake City sign?
Got it?
Okay.
Does anybody have any questions?
What are the options for that sign?
Be direct on Main Street to 3rd Street and then up 3rd Street, or Pioneer, Main Street, Pioneer, 3rd Street, Main Street, Broadway, 3rd
On
Street,
okay.
Main Street, Spruce, 3rd Street. So there's a few options in there. It's just a matter of correct signage, and then it could be multiple options as well.
What are the thoughts of the committee on speed humps or bumps on main thoroughfares?
Mixed, I think is a good way to put it. There's certainly some spots for them, but we believe also the speed signs are helping reduce some of that. So, Chief Vance?
Well, I guess part of the concerns, or not concerns, with speed humps are, we already have 2 speed humps on McBride. That's the area that keeps on, they want one on the, I guess, the west side of Church Street. I don't necessarily know if we have a large contingency of people complaining other than maybe one resident. So does one, so it's kind of, we're trying to outweigh is there really a problem or not? So, and we do have a speed radar sign on the west side of Church, which is slowing people down. And yeah, so.
We've got a total of what, 4 or 5 speed signs in town now?
4.
Newest one over by Beacon?
Beacon.
There's one on Beacon and one on McBride. I did not put them in. I did not put 2 in the budget for next year. It can be put in. I think they're a great thing. Honestly, I think they do slow people down, and I've got nothing but positive feedback from them. I mean, so and then I'm going with the flashing, or not flashing, but the electronic stop signs as well. Hopefully those will, those are vision things and make people stop, and aware of what's going on. So.
I did notice in the last month some limbs and foliage has been taken down that were sort of obscuring the signs for the speed bumps on McBride. So that made it a lot easier,
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, but we could, I mean, we could probably put, flashing stop signs at every intersection, and would it help? It would, but we're trying to locate the ones that actually are the problem areas. So, same with the speed humps, right? We could put speed humps on Beacon Avenue. But is that really where they need to be? And it's so.
So from a cost perspective, it's, I think, $1,500 to $2,000 for the flashing signs.
Yes.
It is 10, well, it probably is 10,000 now for the
Speed radar signs?
speed radar signs.
I think we can get them for roughly about $6,000, two for six, so they're about $3,000 a piece. And then we have to do the pole and everything else, so, they're probably gonna be $7,500 for a pair.
What about the cost for a speed hump?
Mike, did you say 4,000 or 5,000? Oh, 3,000 or 4,000, so.
The harder thing with that one is that we have to get somebody to come and,
And also, I think a speed hump is pretty permanent. I mean, not that we couldn't take one out, but at least a speed radar sign or something to that effect can be taken down if it's not something that needs to be done. But
I don't know how often they're used in other cities to try to control traffic speed on main streets, but this is my opinion. I don't know if it's backed up by studies or not or anything, but they are, for the most part, things that I see in parking lots to try to get people.
Exactly. I will agree with you. We do have two in a very close proximity on McBride. Do I think it slows people down? I do. But we'd have to put them all throughout the entire town. So, anyway. All right, thank you.
thank you. Any other committees meet? Anything further on any of these committees? Moving on. We have no old business, new business, the bid acceptance for the southwest cutting on the 87 acres of the forestry just discussed.
Madam Mayor, I would move that the council authorize the mayor to sign an agreement with Southwest Cutting Incorporated of South Bend for the pre-commercial thinning of 87 acres.
Second.
There is a motion and a second to accept the PCT bid of $15,039 from Southwest Cutting of South Bend, Washington. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We are now at the crack seal project. It's a change order. Is there a motion?
I will move to accept the contract.
Is there a second? Second. There is a motion and a second to accept, to do a change order to, for $29,920 to authorize the use of REIT for matching funds. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We are now at the interlocal agreement with the school for the cadet program.
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. There's a motion and a second, but I think the chief wants to speak on it.
I was just going to explain it. If anybody had any questions, this is the same contract. This has been vetted by Chris Coker, and he originally wrote this contract. All I did was change the dates and the monetary amount that the school would pay in the city of Montesano. And we're excited. I know the school district's excited to have this program running again. And so I would ask the council to grant the mayor to sign this contract so we can move forward.
Who's instructing?
It'll be Jeff Smith. He'll be the primary.
Yes.
Any further questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We are now at ordinances and resolutions with the adoption of the 6-year TIP TIP program amendment that was just heard at public hearing. Is there a motion?
I move for adoption of the 6-year TIP program amendment.
Second.
There is a motion and a second to approve resolution number 992, a resolution of adopting a 6-year street plan for the city of Montesano for the city. Just as for all of you to know, it's just as to we amended it to adjust the schedule for Lake Sylvia sidewalk projects, federal funding timeline. And so that's the primary reason for it. Does anybody have any questions about this? Okay, with that, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now we are at resolution number 993.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
There is a motion and a second for resolution number 993 as to a resolution of the City Council of the City of Montesano declaring the itemized property listed below surplus to the citizens' needs so that it can be disposed of in accordance with the Washington state law. And this deals with the two vehicles that are no longer serviceable, a 1994 Chevy, which served the water department faithfully over 20 years, and the 2006 Explorer, which is a police vehicle and then a public works vehicle. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Resolution number 993 passes. Okay, so with that, we are again at public comment. Is there anyone that would like to make public comment at this time? Hearing none, I'm going to go ahead and move to council comment. Councilman Carl?
Glad to be here after missing last meeting due to eye surgery, which I want to advise you went perfectly. I can actually see across the room for a change. Yeah, and I'm enjoying our summer weather, finally.
Good.
Thank you.
Councilman Scaramucci, also nice to see you. I feel like it's old home week here.
I have 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 things to talk about. First is, again, welcome Don Thomas.
Thank
Here, look forward to working with you. Second, thank Pat Wadsworth. Where you at? Oh, there you are. And third, I want to say I was gone 26 out of the last 31 days. I came home to a city that looked a bit different. I was impressed with all the progress we made, streets. And the crack seal looks, to me, it looks good. To most people, they probably think, oh, but it really means a lot. It's going to save us a lot. The fourth thing I want to mention is we have new council members, and for the last 6 months to a year, the Public Works Committee has been mulling the topic of fluoride in municipal drinking water. And we went through 2, I guess we call them arguments. There's a concerned water service customer that lives outside of our area that's brought forward some fairly recent information about maybe the potential danger of ingesting fluoride in our drinking water. And we first reviewed it and we thought maybe it was a policy thing, but we realized that in 1961, the council passed a resolution to introduce fluoride to our drinking water. And over the years, there have been some opposition against it. After all this time, the committee felt that the council probably should take up, at least listen to the argument. It's almost as if we're putting fluoride on trial and we're the jurors. And we may or may not make any changes in the future, but I think it's worth listening to the more recent information. And it may be painful to listen to a lot of it, but I think a lot of it's credible that's come forward. And for me, there's been a couple of real important revelations in this discussion of this. One is just where we're getting fluoride from. And that you'll hear that. She's offered up her time to give the whole council a presentation, as she did the committee. And then we've got a recorded I guess it was not a argument from the Washington State Department of Health. So you're going to hear both sides of the argument, and you're going to determine whether we really want to continue on or what we want to do with fluoride. But we're at a fairly low limit, but we've got maybe some operational issues, but that shouldn't be an issue really. But as for the committee, I just think that we need to at least listen to the argument. We may or may not do anything. And I've invited her to the council meeting, and it may be the second council meeting in September, to give her presentation.
So that's not going to work, but maybe you can give me her information and then I can set up a
Okay,
date.
all right. Okay. I've just been in contact with her, so. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Bryson.
All right. Sorry I wasn't able to be here for the last meeting. I was down in Phoenix at graduation. Tell you what, it sure is nice to be back in Montesano. I was glad to see the Fish and Brew sign when I came back into town. It's really nice to be having our events, back in the swing of things. That's always a fun one. So that's all I have for tonight. Thanks.
Councilman.
Same.
Okay. Councilwoman Jester.
I turned into Vinnie today 2 blurbs for the new city website, one about the library and one about the community center, so she could review those. And in part, I say that because I would encourage any other organizations in town who would like a little link on the city's website that they can do that going through Vinnie. Can I ask a question?
Sure,
Sean, right? So Sean, we're gonna have a staff directory on the online website eventually? There isn't one now?
There isn't one now by design. There can be if I'm told to put one there.
Okay, well, I would really like to see one there, but I don't know. Is it a Vinnie decision?
Sorry.
Well, I'm not familiar yet with all of the staff in all of the departments, and I try to look them up, and I can't find any information. So, do we have a printed directory?
Yes, that I do know we do.
Okay, well, I'll take that in the meantime, I guess. Thanks, that's all.
I'll briefly put on my hat again as the council's unofficial sports reporter and remind the council that football, girls soccer, men's golf, cross country, volleyball are all starting up again along with all the rec sports. So get out there and support our local youth.
Thank you. Councilwoman Thomas.
I'm taking this chance to listen and to learn, but I do have a few questions, and they would be towards Sean. Are we going to have photos of ourselves on the council page, and then do we need to come up with a bio?
You're
That's
speaking
fine.
music to my ears. If
That's on volunteer basis only. If you
Okay.
want one, you can have one.
Okay,
Some do, some don't.
all right, understood.
If you want, you
any other questions?
I think that's it.
In the name of consistency, I think that if one of us does, then the
I'm
other 6
totally
of us should
good.
as well. So.
After the first couple of years, I stopped asking. So if you guys all will get me a photo and a bio, maybe 100, I don't know how many words, not too many words. And if you'll do it by the next meeting, then we'll be good. If you don't, then I announce who hasn't, and the rest of you can talk to them.
Homework.
There you go. I have just a few comments. First, I'm just really happy to see a full council. It's nice to see all of you after all of your travels everywhere, because we're going into budget season. And so I will hopefully, with the management team, tomorrow is our day to spend some time going through numbers. I'm sure they'll all bring calculators, and we will figure out numbers, and you will have hopefully the mayor's budget over the next, if we're lucky, by the first meeting, most likely by the 2nd or October 1st. I think that's my legal requirement to you. And you guys should have committee-wise already seen a lot of it throughout this process. Finally, I just want to remind you all that on August 31st, school starts. Lots of kiddos running around. And so any of you, I'm looking, oh, only one, right? Only one that has somebody left at home. Enjoy your day, and the rest of us be careful as we drive. So with that, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn. Second.
There is a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Am I off?